Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something that may seem counterintuitive. Stop being nice. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't it good to be nice? Isn't niceness a virtue we should embrace? The answer, surprisingly, is no. Being nice is often overrated, and it can sometimes stand in the way of genuine connections, personal growth, and even honesty. You see, niceness is frequently confused with kindness, but they are not the same. Being nice means conforming to social expectations, avoiding conflict, and pleasing others at the cost of our own values and sometimes even our own well-being. Niceness is often superficial. It's about being agreeable and pleasant for the sake of appearances, but it doesn't always reflect true care for others. True kindness, on the other hand, involves compassion, empathy, and action. Kindness might involve saying no when necessary, setting boundaries, or even having difficult conversations, but it is rooted in authenticity. This brings us to the first problem with being nice. It leads to people-pleasing. When we focus too much on being nice, we lose sight of who we are and what we truly believe. We become so concerned with keeping everyone happy that we forget we can't please everyone. And worse, we end up neglecting our own needs. Constantly trying to avoid conflict or discomfort might seem harmless at first, but over time it will wear you down. Niceness can also mask authenticity. How many times have we been nice when we actually disagreed with something, or when we didn't really want to do something? By constantly putting on the mask of niceness, we risk never showing the world who we really are. Authenticity, being true to yourself and others, holds far more value than the fleeting comfort of niceness. Moreover, the need to be nice often opens the door for others to take advantage of us. We've all been in situations where we said yes to something we didn't want to do just because we didn't want to cause trouble. This is where being nice can become dangerous. People may start to expect you to always be agreeable, and when you inevitably fall short, they may even feel disappointed. Your need to please others will leave you open to manipulation, and that is never a healthy foundation for relationships. But perhaps the most harmful consequence of being nice is that it comes at the cost of honesty. True character is forged in the moments when we decide to speak up, even when it's uncomfortable. Being nice may keep the peace for a moment, but it doesn't foster the real depth of connection that can only arise through honest conversation. Sometimes, standing up for what is right means upsetting someone, and that's okay. It's far more rewarding to act with integrity, to say the truth when it matters most, than to hide behind niceness out of fear. Lastly, stopping the cycle of niceness invites us into the realm of courageous conversations. These conversations may be difficult, but they are crucial for our personal development and the development of our relationships. It's through these moments that we truly understand each other, learn from each other, and grow. So I challenge you today. Stop being nice. Stop pleasing others at the cost of your own values. Stop hiding behind a facade. Be kind, be authentic, and have the courage to stand up for what is right. Your true character will shine through when you choose honesty and integrity over superficial niceness. At first glance, niceness and kindness may seem synonymous. We are often taught from a young age to be nice, to smile and avoid conflict, and to do what others expect of us. But niceness is more of a social contract, a form of behavior that revolves around pleasing others and creating smooth interactions, often at the expense of our own truth. It's a surface-level effort to avoid confrontation, a superficial means of making others feel comfortable while concealing what's truly within us. Kindness, however, runs much deeper. It involves genuinely caring for others, even when it's uncomfortable. Kindness can require difficult actions, setting boundaries, providing tough feedback, or standing up for others, even when it would be easier to remain silent. Kindness acknowledges the importance of others' well-being, but it does not ask us to suppress our own beliefs or desires to achieve harmony. True kindness involves recognizing the humanity in others and offering support, even when it may involve some form of discomfort or sacrifice. When we focus solely on being nice, we often ignore the need for honesty, integrity, and deep emotional connection. A person who is nice might avoid confrontation to keep things peaceful, but may never truly offer the love and support someone needs. They may avoid challenging their friends, family, or colleagues, never offering the constructive criticism that would help them grow. Kindness, on the other hand, demands authenticity. It may require us to say something difficult or be vulnerable ourselves, but in the end it fosters much stronger, more meaningful relationships because it's grounded in truth and care rather than social compliance. Thus, while niceness is often a surface-level attempt to maintain peace, kindness is an enduring, heartfelt commitment to the well-being of others. It is not about pleasing people, but about supporting them in ways that encourage growth, honesty, and true emotional connection. The distinction is subtle but significant. Niceness is a shallow, often reactive trait, while kindness is proactive, rooted in empathy and care. The desire to be nice often leads us down the perilous path of people-pleasing. People-pleasers are individuals who prioritize others' happiness and approval above their own, constantly sacrificing their own wants, needs, and opinions to maintain harmony. While it may seem harmless or even noble, this behavior can have long-term detrimental effects on both our mental health and our personal relationships. The underlying issue with people-pleasing is that it places external validation above self-validation. It leads individuals to rely on the approval of others to define their worth, which makes them susceptible to manipulation and exploitation. The more we seek approval, the more we risk losing ourselves. Over time, this can create a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction because, in constantly seeking to please others, we often neglect our own desires, goals, and values. Trying to please everyone is simply an impossible task. There will always be someone who doesn't agree with you, doesn't appreciate you, or doesn't think you're doing enough. The constant chase for approval from others becomes exhausting and leads to a cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. When you try to accommodate everyone, you end up pleasing no one, especially yourself. The time spent trying to fit into others' expectations steals away the energy you could have used to nurture your own passions or growth. People-pleasers often avoid confrontation at all costs, afraid of the discomfort that comes with disagreement or conflict. But confrontation doesn't have to be negative. It can be an opportunity for growth and understanding. Avoiding it out of fear only leaves unresolved issues and deepens resentment over time. As a result, you may lose respect from others, not because of your actions, but because you failed to stand up for yourself or set necessary boundaries. In seeking to please everyone, we end up sacrificing our own needs, eroding our self-worth, and creating relationships that lack depth. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, where both parties feel comfortable expressing their thoughts and emotions, even when they disagree. Being true to yourself, not sacrificing your own identity to fit a mold, is key to forming those authentic connections. At the heart of the dilemma between being nice and being kind lies authenticity. When we choose to be nice, we often do so at the expense of our true selves, opting for a superficial layer of politeness that conceals who we really are. This is the danger of relying too heavily on niceness. It pushes us toward uniformity and societal expectations, rather than encouraging genuine, heartfelt expression. Superficiality thrives when we prioritize external appearances over inner truth. A nice person might say things that others want to hear, avoid discussing uncomfortable topics, or refrain from expressing their real opinions to prevent awkwardness. This approach can feel safe and socially acceptable in the short term, but in the long run, it breeds an environment of emotional inauthenticity. No meaningful connection can form when both parties are hiding behind facades, avoiding the discomfort that comes with real conversation and vulnerability. On the other hand, authenticity is the key to building strong, meaningful relationships. When we embrace who we truly are, without fear of judgment or rejection, we invite others to do the same. Authenticity requires courage, the courage to speak the truth, to share our emotions and to let go of the fear of being disliked or misunderstood. While it may seem easier to maintain the peace by conforming to others' expectations, it is authenticity that fosters deep, trusting connection. True authenticity doesn't mean being harsh or rude, it simply means being honest. It means expressing our thoughts clearly, standing up for what we believe in, and showing others our true selves, even when it feels risky. It's about stripping away the layers of niceness that conceal our individuality, our ideas, and our values. When we stop pretending to be someone we are not, we free ourselves and others to engage in conversations that are deeper, more meaningful, and far more enriching than those based on surface-level niceness. Authenticity requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires the courage to let others see you as you are, flaws and all. This is where true connection and growth lie. It's through authenticity that we form bonds that last, and it's through authenticity that we find out who we truly are and what we are capable of becoming. When we prioritize niceness above all else, we open ourselves to the risk of manipulation. Niceness often comes from a place of wanting to avoid conflict, to keep the peace and to please others, but in doing so we may unintentionally allow others to take advantage of us. A nice person is often hesitant to say no or set boundaries, which can create opportunities for others to exploit their good nature. Manipulation thrives on people who are unwilling to assert themselves or confront others when boundaries are crossed. The manipulative person may exploit a nice individual's fear of conflict by asking for unreasonable favors, demanding attention, or expecting actions without regard for the person's needs. The niceness becomes a form of submission, where the nice person feels obligated to comply out of a desire to keep others happy. The problem with this dynamic is that it leads to one-sided relationships, where the manipulative person is constantly taking and the nice person is continually giving, often to their own detriment. Over time, the person who has been manipulated may begin to feel resentment, frustration, and exhaustion, but they often struggle to express these feelings because their niceness has conditioned them to avoid conflict. The longer this cycle continues, the more difficult it becomes to break free from the manipulation. This dynamic is not only emotionally draining, but also fosters unhealthy patterns in relationships. By not setting boundaries or voicing concerns, the nice individual inadvertently teaches others that their needs and desires are secondary. Eventually, they may lose their sense of self and feel unappreciated or unnoticed. The key to avoiding manipulation is to stop being excessively nice and to begin asserting healthy boundaries. Saying no when necessary, setting limits, and expressing discomfort or disagreement are essential tools for preventing manipulation. Respecting your own needs doesn't make you unkind. In fact, it fosters healthier, more balanced relationships where both parties feel valued and understood. Niceness that sacrifices personal integrity is a dangerous habit, while kindness that includes self-respect is the foundation of meaningful reciprocal connections. False niceness comes with a price. In our pursuit of avoiding discomfort or conflict, we may suppress our true feelings, desires, and thoughts in favor of maintaining an outward appearance of harmony. This might seem harmless in the short term, but the emotional cost can be high. Suppressing who we truly are for the sake of being nice leads to feelings of isolation, frustration, and even self-betrayal. When we mask our true selves behind a veil of niceness, we create a false version of ourselves that is more concerned with other people's perceptions than our own emotional well-being. This constant need to appease others can lead to a deep sense of dissatisfaction and a growing distance between how we act and who we truly are. We may begin to feel disconnected from others because we're not being authentic. The longer we uphold this false niceness, the more it can chip away at our sense of self-worth. The emotional toll of false niceness also manifests in resentment. When we continually prioritize others' happiness over our own, we may begin to feel like we are giving too much without receiving anything in return. This can foster feelings of anger or bitterness, but because we have conditioned ourselves to be nice, we might suppress these emotions rather than express them. Over time, this suppression leads to emotional burnout, where we feel drained and incapable of continuing the facade. False niceness also prevents real growth, both personally and in our relationships. By not being honest with others, we deprive them of the opportunity to understand who we truly are. When we withhold our thoughts and emotions, we deny the relationship the depth it could have. True intimacy requires vulnerability and honesty, neither of which can thrive under the weight of false niceness. If we want to avoid the emotional costs of false niceness, we must learn to embrace authenticity and self-respect. Expressing our true feelings, desires, and concerns might feel uncomfortable at first, but it is the only way to build genuine, lasting connections. It also allows us to be true to ourselves and live in alignment with our values, rather than constantly living in the shadow of expectations. True character is revealed not in moments of ease and agreement, but in the moments when we are forced to confront difficult truths. Niceness by nature avoids conflict and smooths over uncomfortable situations, but this avoidance only prevents the cultivation of deep character. When we choose honesty, especially in challenging situations, we show the world who we truly are. Honesty is a cornerstone of integrity. It requires the courage to speak our truth, even when it might upset others or create discomfort. True character is not about saying what people want to hear. It is about saying what is necessary for growth, understanding, and clarity. When we choose honesty over niceness, we allow ourselves to live authentically and align our actions with our values. However, being honest doesn't mean being harsh or hurtful. Honesty can be delivered with kindness, but it must be rooted in truth. It might mean having uncomfortable conversations, addressing issues directly, or standing up for what we believe in, even if it's unpopular. By doing so, we establish our own moral framework and invite others to do the same. It is through honesty that we are able to make real, lasting connections, because we are no longer hiding parts of ourselves. Honesty also teaches us valuable lessons about vulnerability and strength. When we speak our truth, we make ourselves vulnerable to judgment or rejection. But we also show strength, as we are not swayed by external pressures or the need to please others. In fact, being honest often leads to respect and trust from others, even if the truth is difficult to hear. It shows that we value authenticity and integrity over superficial approval. By embracing honesty, we build a foundation of trust and mutual respect, essential components of true character. Character is not defined by how well we conform to societal expectations, but by how well we stay true to ourselves, even in challenging circumstances. Courageous conversations are the moments when we face the discomfort of honesty and speak up for what we believe is right. These conversations might be difficult, but they are often the most transformative. When we choose to stop being nice and engage in courageous conversations, we create space for deeper understanding and growth. Niceness often prevents us from having these difficult conversations. We avoid discussing issues that matter, whether out of fear of conflict or the desire to keep things comfortable. However, by avoiding important discussions, we miss the opportunity to resolve misunderstandings, clarify intentions, and grow stronger relationships. Courageous conversations, though uncomfortable, open the door to deeper connection and transformation. Engaging in courageous conversations requires vulnerability, the willingness to express our truth even when it's not easy or well received. But these conversations are where real growth happens. Whether it's addressing conflict, offering constructive feedback, or expressing a deep concern, these conversations challenge both us and the people involved to grow beyond our comfort zones. When we engage in these difficult conversations, we often find that the other party is equally relieved to have the truth spoken. They may not always agree with us, but the honesty creates an environment where true dialogue can occur. Through these conversations, we learn more about ourselves and others, fostering respect, understanding, and trust. Courageous conversations are not only for moments of conflict. They can be used to express admiration, appreciation, or vulnerability. By embracing these conversations, we build relationships based on authenticity and mutual respect. Though they may be uncomfortable at first, they often lead to stronger, more resilient connections. In conclusion, the pursuit of niceness can often lead to superficial relationships, personal dissatisfaction, and a lack of authenticity. True connection and growth stem from embracing kindness, honesty, and authenticity, even when it means facing discomfort or conflict. By prioritizing real, courageous conversations over the superficiality of niceness, we can foster deeper, more meaningful relationships and develop our true character. It is through standing firm in our beliefs, setting boundaries, and embracing our true selves that we cultivate lasting respect and personal fulfillment. Let go of false niceness and embrace the power of genuine connection.